setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Michael Lodge. Glad you've joined me. Beautiful blue skies here in South Florida in Palm Beach. Beautiful, beautiful day. I love these kind of days. Yesterday, it was pouring down rain. I mean, it was like coming down in buckets. But today, perfect. So our conversation, what is it going to be about today? Did you get your cup of coffee? Listen, go and get your cup of coffee. You need some time to sit down. I'm going to run a commercial here. Sit down, relax. We're going to talk about the pain of small business. I'll be right back. Listen, if you are having conflict and disputes in your business, send me a text at 818-252-5682. I'm here to help you. Let's get it going. Settle the dispute. This is Mike Lodge.
Business and taxes on WBT.
So, you and I, if you're in small business, are faced with non-existence of cash. Let's just call it there's no cash flow flowing anywhere. And a lot of you, I know that you have tried for the PPP, and I know that you've tried for unemployment. The PPP, if you are a one-man operation, or let's say you have up to 5 employees, it's very difficult. I tried to apply for it, and I was disqualified. It's really sad when you get a response back from the U.S. government when they said they were going to help you out as a small business to get that note back that says, sorry, you are not qualified for this program. Now, a lot of the small businesses were not going to qualify for that. In fact, it's not even, if you do get it, it's probably not going to help you all that much. Unless you have a big amount of employees that are getting a huge amount of sums, especially if you're in the healthcare industry, you should probably be getting it because you have big dollars that you have to worry about. But for us small guys, the guy that's working out of his house or a small office someplace, we don't qualify for it. We just don't qualify. So it's a sad situation because we are the people who really need it the most. Take my business as an example. I am a business mediator. So I mediate disputes and conflicts that businesses are having with each other. Or sometimes even internally, or sometimes it might be a contractual issue or a real estate issue. So when businesses are shut down, law firms are shut down, courts are closed, there's no business flowing into my business at all. It's been a long time since I've heard of a mediation. But it's these kinds of companies like myself who are one-man operations who depend upon other businesses being open that we're screaming and shouting, open the businesses, open the nation. Stop locking us down. By locking us down, you're doing more damage to this nation and small businesses than anybody else out there. And, you know, I love my nurses. I really love nurses. I've been in the healthcare industry for so long, and I've owned staffing companies for healthcare professionals. But I'm seeing a little bit of attitude, and I don't like it. There was a march that's happening today in Los Angeles. And it's small businesses that are going out and they're in their cars and they're going to demonstrate in the city of Los Angeles. One nurse responded to that posting on Facebook and said, "Hey, don't get in my way. You're going to cause me more issues." Now, this is an individual who is only thinking about themselves. Now, as a nurse, she's getting really good pay. I mean, she is in Los Angeles. You get really good pay if you are working in the emergency room of a hospital. You also get good overtime and double pay, and you also get good benefits. So that individual is sitting really pretty well. The rest of us out here are hurting like hell. So I get very frustrated when I see those kind of comments from people who are already set up. Like the Bill Gates and those types of individuals who are trying to tell us what to do because they don't have to worry about it. They are worth billions. They're making so many millions of dollars every minute. But for us small guy, the guy that's sitting in our office, we're hurting. And over the past week, I've been going through some things of what you can do as a business and cutting down on your expenses and just trying to get you to survive. I've also gone through the point where we had to talk about is what happens when you close your business and what do you need to do. But right now, a lot of us, we're sitting in our offices and we're trying to survive. We're trying to collect on our receivables. We're trying to work out payment plans with our payables. And we're trying to, but we have absolutely no government help from the state government and also from the federal government at our size because we're just too small. But the big guys like the Dodgers and the Lakers and all these companies who don't really need the money are the ones getting the money. But the small guy like you and me, we get diddly squat, as my dad would say. You're going to get diddly squat. That's what he would always tell me. Which means we're getting nothing. But we don't give up hope. I mean, I haven't given up hope yet. I'm still trying, still struggling every single day, still promoting my company, promoting my services, doing my podcast, writing my books, trying to do every single thing that I can do to survive. Because it's about survival. And I don't believe in giving up. And you should not believe in giving up either. Yes, you may have to shut down your store for right now. You may have to shut down your office and have to do everything out of your home or do visits. But try to do your very best to make it through every single day. Keep a journal and going through your issues and your problems and your thoughts and your despair and your hopes and your laughter and everything that happens during the day. Keep a journal so that you can review it. When times are good, go back and review that journal and say, gosh, you know what, times were bad. I'm going to operate my business better, stronger. I'm no longer going to waste my time nor my money. So we have possibilities. Even though we small businesses are hurting, and we're hurting bad, but we can also survive and become stronger. We may have to do some things along the way that we never thought we would have to do. We may have to shut down a few websites. We may have to shut down a few expenses we don't need. Maybe we can't watch Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and all the other stuff. Maybe we have to cut it down. And we have to look at all of our expenses trying to think, okay, I can cut here and there and there and there just so that I can survive. But then on the other side, we should be also focusing... Excuse me. Pollen in the air. We should also be focusing on how to improve our revenue. Remember, a lot of companies say, I don't understand why my expenses are so high. I don't understand what happened. Well, it's not that the expenses went up. It's because your revenue went down. And that's what has happened to us right now. All of our revenue has gone down. So if you're hurting, keep in contact with your customers. Send out an email every single day or every week and say, listen, how are you guys doing? We want to hear your story. We want to know exactly how you're doing. And then tell your story. This is what we're doing. We keep that communication up and running. Those vendors and those customers, stupid pollen, those vendors, those customers are going to be willing to work with you. And when the economy gets back up and the government says, let's get going, you'll be ready because those customers have been standing by for you. Because you have put out your hand and said, listen, I'm still here. I'm still trying to survive. And I'm with you. Okay? Get that message out there every single week. Uplift them. Uplift yourself. But do something that's going to be positive and proactive, that's going to keep you mentally alive and also physically alive as a business. Right now, you might just be working on the mental portion, reaching out, looking at ways that you can bring in revenue once the economy gets up. One of the biggest things that has frustrated me, it's frustrated me so much, and that is the fact that we had a lot of governments, make decisions and make policy based on bad data. For day one, I kept saying to everybody, this is not an emergency situation when we need to shut down the whole country. The whole country doesn't need to shut down. Yes, we need to protect those that are sick, and we need to protect the elderly. I mean, when I say sick, I mean people with healthcare conditions that this virus would affect. But it did not justify. And I kept looking at the numbers, because numbers never lie, unless it's really bad numbers. But I was looking at the numbers at the very beginning. I tracked it for several days, and we kept staying at infection rate of, based upon the population to the infection rate, at 0.001 for many, many days. And then it went to 0.002, and I kept thinking, I do not see an issue. And then today, now we know that the infection, or the not the infection rate, but the recovery rate is 90, what is it, 98.5 or something like that? It's very, very high, the survival rate. Maybe it's 94.8, something like that. I can't remember, but it's a very high number. But it shows us that if you get the virus, you probably are going to survive. In fact, sometimes you might have the virus and it may not go anywhere. Just like the regular flu. Sometimes you're around people with flu, but do you get the flu? Sometimes not. Sometimes you do, sometimes not. That's why I kept saying, listen, if you really want to know the true answer of how to control this, it's improving your immune system. I kept saying that because I grew up in Seattle, and I'm telling you, we had the flu every single winter. We knew as kids, and we kind of was hoping for it to get the flu because we knew that we'd be down for 2 weeks and then wouldn't have to go to school. That's how kids think. But we always had the flu. And so when I moved away from Seattle, I've never had the flu since. Cold, yes. Flu, no. I've never had the flu. And I have been walking around without a face mask all this time. And I think because my immune system is so strong that it helped me from not getting sick. Because I have not had the flu since I moved away from Seattle when I was a kid. Never had the flu. My mom, too. My mom never had the flu. Throughout the rest of her life on this earth, she never had the flu. Colds, yes. Flu, no. And I think it was because having been affected by the flu seasons in Seattle, Washington, and also Spokane, Washington, our bodies became strong. Our immune systems became strong. And so I kept preaching to everybody, get your immune systems up. Get out and walk. Have a breathing exercise so that you're getting oxygen into your lungs. But I never felt that it was a virus that we should have shut the whole nation down. Shutting down businesses. Shutting down churches. Shutting down schools. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, this guy's an idiot. He's a jerk for saying that. But if we have a high percentage rate of people who are surviving this, just like we have a high percentage rate surviving the flu, and you guys are going to argue, well, it's not the same as the flu. I know that. Everybody knows that. But we also know that if you're sick, stay home. If you want to work from home, work from home. If you don't want to get sick, stay healthy. If you're healthy, get out and live. But there's no reason to be shutting this nation down day after day, week after week, and let businesses go into bankruptcy. Hospitals almost about ready to fail because they probably have to go into bankruptcy. Corporations are going into bankruptcy because you have let down, the government has let down the business community. That's why a few weeks ago, a few days ago, I did a podcast, and maybe I was mean. And to the president, I apologize. And I called him a Benedict Donald. And the reason why I did that is because I don't think that he has thought about small businesses like you and me who are operating out of our home or a little workspace someplace. I watched a documentary on NPR, and it showed this one business, a husband and wife who have this facility where kids can come in, and moms and dads can work from that facility. They've got little workspaces in the back, but the kids can play at front. And it was a great idea. I thought, oh my gosh, I wish more people would have had this when I first started out. In fact, I don't think anybody had that when I first started out. But they were not able to get the PPP because they just did not qualify. And they had 5 employees. And I believe it was like 42% of their expense was for the rent. And none of that PPP money would have been able to cover even a portion of that rent. It was so small. And just a little tiny portion would have covered for the 5 employees, but only for 2.5 weeks. Well, if your community is not up and running, if all the businesses around you are closed, that 2.5 weeks turns into 6 weeks, and then 9 weeks, and then 20 days. It just keeps continuing on because the government has held you back from opening your business and the businesses around you. So that creates a really big problem. So that PP only covers up to 2.5 weeks of payroll. After that, no more. So if your community isn't up after 2.5 weeks, what good is it really? Covers you for 2.5 weeks, but what about the 3 months that it might take? Because some of these states want to open up in June. I believe in small business. I love small businesses. I've consulted the small businesses, started them up for companies, formed them for companies, advised them on their tax issues and everything else. I love small businesses. And I love mediating small business issues. But if the communities remain closed, I have no clients. I have no clients whatsoever. So understand there are small businesses like myself, the 1-man, the 2-man operations, maybe up to 5 people, man operations, who are not being helped by the government whatsoever. So we are on our own. We have to find ways to be creative, or we shut down our businesses 100%. And then the American economy is worthless then. If we can't get our companies back up and running, our businesses up and running within the next week, I'm sure I'm going to get calls from people saying, you know what, Mike, I'm not going to be able to pay you. I know I owe you money, but I got to shut down my business because I just have no cash flow and I have no government assistance or help. That's why, listen, if you are in a small business, if you are in a community, sorry about that. If you are in a community where you have the opportunity to help a small business, do it. Because they need your help badly. Even if it's a small dress shop or if it's a small restaurant, whatever kind of small business it is in your community, they need your help. So I plead with you. Reach out and help those guys and girls because they're just about ready to go under if they haven't already. So I encourage every single one of you, make every single day a small business day. That tire shop that's operating on the corner who's empty, and if you need tires, go over there and get some because he needs your help. The barber shop that wants to reopen but is limited to what they can do, support that barber shop or that nail salon or that toy store or that clothing store. Whatever kind of business that is local, support them. Remember the Targets and all those other types of companies are going to survive. They're big enough. They have enough cash flow coming in every single day because they cover everything. But we who are maybe accountants or business advisors, mediators, attorneys, bookkeepers, hair salons, and all the other small businesses out there, we're trying to survive. Work together. If you're a small business, work with another small business. Promote them. Help them. Let's just survive. Let's turn this pain of small businesses into opportunities by working together. That's the only way that we can make it because we're not going to get that government help. It's worthless. So you and I, we have to reach out to each other and we've got to work together and we've got to bring business into each other. That's the only way that we can do it. And we will do it. Turn the pain into an opportunity. Turn the pain into a relationship with your local businesses. Turn the pain of small business and help other small businesses. This is Mike Lodge. Listen, if you have a question, send me an email, or not an email, but a text to 818-252-5682, 818-252-5682, and I'll answer your question. Go to Amazon.com and buy my books. Books by Michael Lodge. I've got 3 of them out there. Buy them. Help me out. Help my dogs out. Everybody, come on, let's help each other. We'll be a much better community, much better society. I want you to really focus on those small businesses in your communities over the weekend. Help them out. This is Mike Lodge. I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This podcast has been produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content.